Minasan konnichiwa, watashi wa Lancia desu, yokoso. Welcome to my YouTube channel, it's Vlog Like Lancia. This is episode 2 of my Journey to Japan series. If you'd like to see the first episode, please go to the description, there'll be a link down below. And yeah, this video is about my top 10 reasons why I'm learning Japanese, or like reasons why you should learn Japanese. And they're just kind of general but also personal to me. So I think like some might be personal to me, I guess, and then others might be just general ones that could apply to any language. And yeah, I just wanted to share them with you and hopefully inspire some people to start learning Japanese or a language, or even just, you know, just for interest, I guess, because people might be interested in why someone wants to learn a really completely random language. So yeah, I really hope you enjoy this video. Let's go on to it. So my first reason is to watch anime without subtitles, which is a really weeby thing to say, but I actually think it's a good reason to be able to like watch your favourite show basically without having to have any subtitles in a completely different language. I think that is like going to be something that's really rewarding, and I also like can pick up a few words from some animes that I do watch. So I think it's really fun to do that and makes me feel like I'm smart kind of and knowledgeable. But yeah, I think anime is such a common reason why people go to learn Japanese, especially like people who are younger as well and watch it more. So yeah, it's a great reason, and that's my reason. And if you don't watch anime and you try and learn Japanese, I suggest you do, because it can help you learn, yeah, by immersing yourself with the culture. Reason number 2 is because I want to live in Japan. So whether that's studying or getting a job, both require a good degree of English and Japanese, or mostly Japanese because it's in Japan, but it depends what it's like in your country. But yeah, getting a job usually requires N3 or N2 and N1, especially for jobs which require a lot of communication. So I can imagine business is one of them. And yeah, learning Japanese would just help me so much. It would help in my daily life if I lived in Japan, well, when I lived in Japan, hopefully. And I could just not have to rely on like Google Translate or even like a physical like person translator. So yeah, I want to be independent and be able to speak Japanese and also like talk to locals as well, which is something I didn't do too much when I went to Japan, but I would just like to like have a conversation with someone who's like at work, I guess, in their language as well, not in English, which is what usually happens. Yeah, I really want to practice my Japanese on native speakers, and that would be perfect to do if I knew the language. I'm struggling to speak English. So speaking of native Japanese speakers, this brings me on to my reason number 3, which is so I can talk to people who speak Japanese, basically what I've already said, but it's more specific because I'm part of my university's Japanese society, and there's a lot of Japanese students there, international students, or just people who are learning Japanese as a degree, and I want to be able to like talk in Japanese to them, because I just think it'd be really helpful for me. I mean, it might even help them if they're studying. And I also want to like get to know people more and make more friendships, and I thought speaking in someone's native language would really help. Reason number 4 is because I think that Japanese is a very beautifully written language. So hiragana and katakana are very nice to look at. I think hiragana are absolutely beautiful. Oh, my alarm's gone off. So as I was saying, yeah, the characters are really beautiful, and I really like kanji as well because it's like a symbol, I guess, one character, and it has like all these meanings, so you can use it quite a lot, and it's sometimes better than like writing like a long hiragana, which is phonetic. And I also think kanji are quite fun to learn. I even got a new book ordered. It's Kanji from Zero, I think that's what it's called, and I'm going to be using that to learn kanji, which I'm really excited for. So yeah, I think it's really fun, and even if you're just memorising the meanings rather than the readings, I just think that's really like, it's just really interesting, the thought process behind what a symbol means. So like usually a dog, you could say it looks like a person with a little dog on their shoulder, and you come up with all these little mnemonics, and I think that's really fun to learn. And also you can use it for Chinese as well, because a lot of the meanings are quite similar. So yeah, that's one reason. Reason number 6 is that it's actually really cool to know another language. Now this might sound like a nerdy thing, but just think like you're talking to your friends and then suddenly you can whip out some Japanese, or you see some kanji and you can read it. And I just think a skill like that is really cool, and it's also really good as well to impress hard to please parents, because they'll be happy that you know more languages, because yeah, you're smarter and more to brag about to their friends. So yeah, I think it's really cool, and it's just an awesome skill that will stay with you for your entire life. And since this is a skill that will stay with you for your entire life, I thought that it would be good to note down that learning a language, not just Japanese, but learning any language, would be really good for opportunities, especially career opportunities. So you could like go abroad, you could work in the food industry, work as a translator. I know it's pretty much basic, but I can't really think of anything on the top of my head, but you could literally work in the area, the country, I guess, or any countries that speak that language that you've learned, which is crazy because like that's just so many opportunities that you didn't even have before. And I think it also puts you above, like it can like boost your applications and CVs, and like this might be a reason why an employer picks you and not somebody else, just because of this skill that you have. Hence it is great for opportunities, and that goes for every single language, not just Japanese. Reason number 7 is that it can help be a gateway to other languages. So for example, learning Japanese, the kanji is very similar similar meaning to Chinese characters. So by learning Japanese, you could make it easier for yourself to learn the Chinese characters, which is crazy because like that is literally multiple languages, and then suddenly you're bilingual and you can become a polyglot, and like it's just very impressive, and it's such a great skill to have. And like learning multiple languages, opportunities, the connections you can have with people, it's just insane. I still can't like get my head around it. But yeah, once you've learned Japanese, you could definitely go and try to learn Chinese, and it probably won't be as hard as someone who's just starting off with no Chinese at all. This is also the same for a lot of like Germanic languages, since there are quite a few in Europe. You learn one, and then that's like gateway to another one. The words are similar. It's just great. So like yeah, that's one reason to learn Japanese, because it can give you an advantage over learning other Asian languages. So once I did actually try to learn Cantonese, since that's what my family speaks, but the tones and like the characters and everything, I was quite young at the time as well, it really overwhelmed me and it put me off. So I learned like how to say a few phrases, but it was too much, and I find it really difficult to learn Chinese. So I'm going to start off with Japanese. Don't know if I'll ever learn Chinese, but there definitely is a possibility, since, you know, opens up the vocabulary, I don't know, mindset of language learning. Number 8. So this one is related to traveling, and when I went to Japan, I found that not many people actually spoke English, which I was really surprised at. I mean, obviously I know English isn't spoken everywhere, but I assumed that more Japanese people were able to speak English. So I don't know, I think I was speaking English to someone, I would kind of like not expect them to know it, but maybe just like assume they had a little understanding. But a lot of Japanese people did not know English, either that or like they didn't want to speak English to me at all, and they would only speak in Japanese. So yeah, if you're going even just as a tourist to Japan, I highly recommend learning a bit of Japanese, because there's not much English about, and it can be quite difficult when you're like trying to order or something, or you're trying to explain something to someone. I can't think of a precise example. But yeah, tickets actually. Finding the ticket machines and stuff, it's really useful to ask where you can get the tickets and where you can put money on your Suica card. Also, being able to explain what you want to say to someone when you're on holiday is also good for, if you want to, well, you should want to, is to learn their culture and experience it more and really like immerse yourself. Yeah, it's just like for cultural reasons. And like when you read kanji and you look at the meanings, like the kunnomi and the onnomi, you kind of see like the historical and culture within those readings and within the meanings. And that's only something that you can learn through a language. And I just feel like it brings you closer to like immersing yourself. That's the best way I can describe it. To being right in, like straight into the whole like language, the culture, the country. And I just think it's a really good idea, and I think a lot of historians would actually benefit from learning the language of the place that they're studying. I'm not sure if that's what they do, but I think I think in my head that's like a good idea. And also I want to use it to know more about a bit of the culture, because I'm not too like in-depth. I don't really have that much in-depth and insight into like the culture too much in Japan, like especially like historical, like in the past. But I really want to, and I think like learning this language will really help. And I'll be able to go in and completely absorb everything. And also when I go to temples, it'd be nice to know what is written on them and on the shrines, like what it actually says. I just realised that one thing that you can actually detect from their language is the level of respect that the Japanese people have for each other. So, for example, there's polite forms and impolite, like formal, informal, plain forms of different words. So for example, to say like something is in its negative form, it has like a negative informal, negative, formal, and in a plain form. So like the informal would be janai, and the plain version would be what? No, wait, I can't remember what the middle one is. It is. Brain does not know. It's janai arimasen. I think that's right. And then for the formals, which is like writing, it is dewa arimasen. Yeah, so I probably did not say that very well because I'm not used to speaking since I don't really have anyone to practice with. But yeah, that's just an example I had. And I think it really shows that by learning this, you can understand how Japanese people think when they speak their language and how they think before they speak about what type of language they use and how they're going to like formally address or informally address someone. Now for reason number 10, we're finally at the end of the video. So reason number 10 is I really miss studying languages. I really like studying in general. I usually study my physiology and anatomy, but right now I'm really focusing on my Japanese. And I miss studying language. I studied German at GCSE and I got a grade B, I think. And I just really enjoy like learning new vocab and making sentences in a different languages and talking in a different language other than my own. I just think it's really fun, and I really want to like recreate like the studying different language kind of like thing and get back into it. I don't really have many study habits that I'm transferring over, so I'm kind of starting afresh. But I'm really excited. I really enjoy learning new words, especially like when I'm like, oh, this is what this is called in a different language, and like seeing how different or similar it is just really interesting to me. Okay, so they're my 10 top reasons why you should learn a language or why I'm learning Japanese. I really hope you enjoyed this video and that it gave you some motivation to study and not watch YouTube, and also give you some inspiration as well as why you should learn a language other than your own. Because I still need to learn English because it's really bad. My English is really bad and that is my native language. Yeah, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!